Welcome back everyone. Going to start this week in the garden. I'm going to start my beans off in some root trainers. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab some compost. Well, I'm not sure if you can see this properly, but the compost is really quite nice compost in here. So a little bit of roots. So I'm going to get as much of that as I can, or as much of it as I need. I'm going to do the beans in root trainers, and we'll keep them in the shed, the potting shed, until they're a reasonable size to go to the allotments. Anything that's not rotted down gets put back in. Sometimes you get these fibrous leaves, fibrous weeds, and they go back into the other bin. There you go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each of these root trainers up with compost. It's just a fibrous roots. So I'm going to fill them 3/4 of the way up. And I'm just going to firm the compost down slightly, not too hard, but just enough that it's firm but not solid. So I've got several types of beans I'm going to be trying this year. Of course, my favourite is the Hound, which is a French purple climbing bean, which I grow every year now. And I'm going to grow some honey beans. Well, this year I've got several types of beans I'm going to be doing. These are Blauhild. These are the purple French climbing beans. These are my saved seed from last year, so I'll be doing some of them. These are the runner beans I tried last year. They're Red Emperor, and the bean shoots came up okay, but it was so hot the plant didn't set any flowers until the temperature started to cool down again. So I'm going to try these again. I've got a few left in there to try. These ones I found in the bottom of my seed box. I can't remember where they came from, but I'm going to give them a try. They are old beans. They're about 5 years old. So we'll try them out, we'll see what happens. And these are a red, sorry, not red, they're a yellow French dwarf bean. So I'll also be trying some of these. So I've got my root trainers. As you can see, the soil's up to about that deep. So the soil's about that deep, which is about ideal. And basically, all I'm going to do is plop one seed in each cell tray, each cell. Now, I usually have 4 wigwams with 6 plants on each wigwam, so I'll need at least 24. So this cell tray is 28. So I'm just going to do them all up. Hopefully have a few spares. If I have a few spares, Delilah might take them. But if I need them, I've always got them. That one's a bit small. I'll try another one. So that's them all in there. I'm just going to top this up with soil, then water it, and leave it in the potting shed. And that should be it. It shouldn't take too long. Beans are very, very quick, and they grow very fast. And usually I wait until May to get these done, but we're right at the end of April, so we're almost in May. It shouldn't make that much of a difference. It is beginning to get warmer. Average nighttime temperatures this week have been about 5 degrees, whereas last week it was about 3 degrees, so things are warming up, and we might even get some rain at the weekend. So if we get some cloud cover as well at night time, that should keep things warm. But yeah, these are quite simple and they're quite effective, these root trainers. These are sort of like the new sturdy ones that people are making, and they're really, really good. I've got another set of the old flimsy ones, which I think I'm going to be using for the last time this year. I have had them for about 10 years, and you know, they are a bit flimsy and they are beginning to show their age now. So I think after this summer, in fact, here they are here. These black flimsy ones, you know, really, and as you can see, they're beginning to break up. So this will be the last year I use these ones, and I'll get myself another one of these ones, which really are much better and much easier to use. So I'll put that one over there. This one, I'm going to start off with the runner beans. I don't know how many I've got. Maybe about a dozen. Hang on. So I'm just going to plop these in. A lot of people say you've got to put them in on the sides, otherwise they might rot. I've never really had that experience. I can't remember it being a problem, and I'm sure in nature it doesn't matter what side they go down on, they'll still germinate. So that's 12, 16. As I says, these all came up last year, but it was so hot they never set seed. So that's 16, so I'll just put a marker in there. And I'll fill the rest up with these purple dwarf ones. Excuse me. Now I do have another root trainer up at the allotment, which I shall I'll bring down the next time I'm up. I'm going to put 2 in each of these. These are old seeds, so they might not take. But if I put 2 in, they've got twice the chance of not taking. Or twice the chance of taking. So, hedging my bets here. They're old seed. I don't. In fact, I think Delilah gave me these. She went back to France just before COVID. Then COVID hit and she couldn't get back from France for quite a long time. So there we go. These are Red Swan, a remarkable heritage variety. So April to July, harvest June to October. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any. I've never had any luck with dwarf beans. They always seem to get slugged. Every time I've sown the yellow dwarf beans, which I've got there, they just seem to get slugged. I know they're closer to the ground, but you'd expect some to survive. So, just fill this back up. Then all I've got to do with these is water them. These will stay in the shed. These will stay in the shed until they actually germinate. There's no point putting them out, they don't need sunshine until they germinate. So I'll just put a cover over them, just a basic cover, and that will give a little bit of insulation at night time and help retain moisture. The last thing you want is them drying out. I was up at the allotment yesterday and basically everything had to get watered. We haven't had any rain for such a long time now. Yes, we expect these problems with rain every year, but this is a bit early in the year to be having no rain. Right, I've got some labels here. Let me just label these up. Scarlet Emperor first. I don't know. Trust me, it says Scarlet Emperor. I can't get the camera to focus. And if these Red Swan ones, if I do get double germinations, it's not a problem. I'll just plant them all out. You know, I'll have 2 beans going up the one pole. It's not a problem. Not as much as a problem is getting the back off of these labels. So that starts there. Red Swan all the way down here to Scarlet Emperor. Sorry, Red Swan to here. Then these are all Scarlet Emperor. Brilliant. And one for the Blaheld, which is one of my favourite beans. The Red Emperor, what I'll do with them is I won't be eating them fresh. I'm going to keep them for the beans inside. I'm going to dry them, and I'll use them later in stews and chilies and soups. They do quite well, you know, they're quite a nice bean. Also the last flush of the blothout. They'll be saved to dry as well. So all I've got to do is water them, then put a lid on, and that's them done. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's the 30th of April and it's sunny and warm, although a little bit windy today here in Exeter. Yeah, I've had a busy day so far. I've been down to the dentist and I've walked back from the dentist back up to the allotment. So I thought there's a couple of little jobs I'd like to get done. So I'm going to see if I can get them done today and maybe prepare a couple of jobs for the weekend. So let me swing the camera around and show you what's been going on. Okay, at the weekend I'm going to take these radishes out and put in my parsnips. As you can see, there's a couple of big ones. There's one that isn't even worth it, but I'll take the other 4 out. I've also got sunflowers self-seeded in here. Mental note to myself, don't put sunflower heads in the compost. The broccoli, we're still picking the broccoli. It's all really good. There's still quite a bit on that. But I'm going to let this one go to flower and see if I can collect some of the seeds. Well, it's gone to flower. And see if I can get some of the seed pods. Then this will need a weed because I will be making use of this bed soon for my brassicas. This bed can stay as it is. The tomatoes are going to go in here this year. I do have to take that broken glass to the tip. And in here I've got a couple of sunflowers that self-seeded and I took out and put into pots. So there's about 4 or 5 sunflowers there, and I think that's a lupin. I'm not sure. I don't know how it's managed to get here, but I think that's a lupin. So they'll get a water before I go today. This bed here, if I look down here, you can see the potatoes are just coming up. So these are up, and I can see potatoes in all 3 rows. There's potatoes there, and in the middle row, got potatoes coming up. So that's all good. I did put some beetroots in here, but they are struggling with the heat and lack of water, so I'll give them another good water and see if they perk up. As you can see, they're a bit dehydrated, I think. The pak choy is doing well, considering how long I put it in. So I mean, that's a fair size. That's still a bit small. And it's getting nibbled from someone. This one's been nibbled to death. I've got a couple of more pak choys and a tatsoi to go in here. So I'll be doing that later today. This is from a very small seed potato grow along. It's a little tiny small seed potato about the size of a pea that I found in the compost. Early potatoes are doing okay. They'll get another water today. This bed needs another weed. That's all bindweed, and I cleared it all out a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if we can get another picking from the rhubarb. And strawberries are doing well. Well, almost all of them. That one's not trying, but all the others have got growth on them. Bindweed, and There's also some self-seeded sunflowers, which I might pick them out. So that's that bed. Oh, while we're here, okay, so this is the pak choy and tat soy. These 5 are pak choy, and this is tat soy. And as you can see, it's very similar to the pak choy. Hopefully it'll look a bit different once it matures. What else? I need to raise that net because it's pushing down on the tops of the elephant garlic, so I need to raise that net. Might do that the weekend. Broad beans are doing okay. The sweet peas are beginning to find their way. Not the best place to plant them, but they're in there now. These other peas are doing okay. Didn't seem, I direct sowed some peas in the ground and I haven't seen any come up. So I might do some more in cell trays. A couple of weeks ago I planted carrots in here, and if you look very closely, that's a carrot. I think that's a carrot. I think these are weeds. But that's a carrot, and that's a carrot. So the carrots have started. I'll keep this watered because it's drying out very quickly, and if it dries out, we won't get anything. That's another carrot. So we're getting some germination with the carrots. And here, my aubergines are, well, they're about that size now. I'm not sure, they haven't really grown much, and I don't know if it's because they're in these pots or not. And this is one of my peppers. This is a chili pepper. This is a tiger jalapeno. So I'm going to start bringing my peppers down and putting them in the greenhouse at the moment. So that's a tiger jalapeno. It's looking quite nice. So, and the pile of wood. Now I am going to be using some of this wood to make a raised bed over there against the fence, so I'll be using something for that. And I made the bay for my spent compost over there. I'll take you and show you a closer look. So this is where all my spent compost is going to go, and it's all sitting in there. This is actually sitting on another pallet, so hopefully I'm not going to get bindweed growing up from at the bottom of it. So I will, when I get the new bed ready up there, I'll take the coarse unrotted stuff from the top of that bay, put it on this bay, and at the bottom there should be loads and loads of nice compost to use. And it's a windy day, so I'm getting all sorts of things blown into my plot. And that's mine, it should be over there. I also came up during the week and cut the grass, so hopefully with the grass and the sunshines burning it off a little bit, I won't need to cut it so often. So hopefully some rain at the weekend. It's looking good for rain on Sunday, but that might change. So I'm going to get changed, put on some work clothes, And first thing I'll do is I'll start planting off the pak choi and tatsoi. Okay, what I'll do is I'll show you how I prepare these planks for breaking up. Remember, this is pallet wood, and it's just been bust apart. So the nails are quite long at the minute, and I should try and hammer them out. Chances are the nail will bend one way or the other, so it'd take me a lot longer. So what I do is I use this little disc cutter wheel, and I cut the nail down to about half a centimetre, maybe a bit more. So just cut it down. Then I use the hammer it through, then turn it over, use the claw, pull them out, pull that one out. And that's it. That's the quickest way I can think of doing these once they've been broken up. So I'll just show you this last one. Nails bent a little bit, so just cut it down to size. Hammer them through. And just use the claw to pull them out. And that's how I prepare my pallet wood for raised beds. So that's them all out. Well, I've now got all the bits I need for this raised bed, all painted and cut to size. So now it's just a matter of assembly, and it'll be interesting to see how well this assembles, because it's not the best of wood. Some of it's quite thin to start with, but we've got the trouble of doing this so far. So let's see if we can get it assembled. Now, I've got 4 posts that are going to go in the ground. So I'm going to start with these. See suitable screws. Yeah, I think that's the size I need. So I'm just going to try and get it square on this post and stick a couple of screws for it to hold it. Of course I can use the old nail holes to screw through, so I don't have to drill it. This piece of wood is particularly bent, but we don't, it will still work. We'll just go in at an angle. Okay. Now that's going to be one part of it. This is going to be a piece that joins the long pieces in the middle. Yeah, this curved piece is causing me problems, but it's all I've got at the minute. So that's that one. So I want to get this square on the end again. And what will happen is that this end will join into that end by that middle piece there. Now, so I'll just put a couple of screws in here to hold this in place. Actually, I don't need these long ones for that. Okay, that is going to be one side piece. Just put another screw in here. Okay. So that's going to be one of the long sides. Well, I've got all the component parts here, and I'm just going to assemble them together. I don't know whether to put the bed here on this grass here and make this the path to the bench, or put the bed up there against the wall. So I'm a bit undecided at the minute, so I'm just going to assemble this and move it around to see where I prefer it. So I think I'm going to have it here. I'll line it up along this edge, and that still leaves enough room in front of the bench. I just need to be careful with this because this is all holes from where I had my potato buckets, so it's going to need filled in a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll bring the strimmer up and I'll trim this edge all down here, and that way I'll have a better idea of, I can see what I'm working with. But at the minute it's going to stay there. We've come to the end of the day. It's been a really nice day here in Exeter. I've had all the wildlife, the amount of birds and sparrows and that have been on the plot collecting things. So it's been a really nice day. We've both got a lot of work done, and we're going to call it a day. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all my new subscribers who have subscribed, and thanks for all my regular subscribers who keep subscribing and watching the shows. So thanks again, and I'll see you again next time.